Oprah Winfrey versus Donald Trump. 2020 would be an all-out war for the White House, a battle of the billionaires, the clash of the TV titans, a mudslinging match for the ages, and America is salivating at the prospect. After a powerful speech on sexual harassment at the Golden Globes on January 6, 2018, many of Oprah Winfrey's fans, well, they took to Instagram to call her out to run for president with the hashtag Oprah2020 trending online. Not even all fans, just people in general. They wanted to see more.
So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon.
Donald Trump replied to the media frenzy during a meeting at the White House the following day, saying this.
Yeah, Oprah would be a lot of fun. I know her very well. You know, I did one of her last shows. She had Donald Trump. This is before politics.
Donald Trump does sound a little cocky, but I suppose this isn't the first fellow celebrity who's thrown their hat into the ring. Remember this?
I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
Actually, whatever happened to Kanye? I hope he comes back into the game, because then we can make more verses. Now, early predictions believe that if Oprah Winfrey were to go toe-to-toe against Donald Trump, she would likely win. But we ain't there yet. We're about a year or more away until we finally figure out who the candidates are gonna be. But here on Versus, we can't wait that long. We want answers, and we want them immediately. So let's pit together these two in a head-to-head, no-hold-barred Versus video. My name is Mike McCrudden, and I've yet to make a Before Their Famous video on Oprah. Let me know if that's something you want me to do. The best way to get a hold of me is via Instagram or Twitter at McCruddenM. Also, place your guesses down below on who you think's gonna win. Alright, here we go. Round 1, fight! Kicking things off in round 1, we're gonna talk about money, because money rules the world. Dollar, dollar bill, yo. Although being a billionaire isn't a requirement for the big White House gig, in fact Donald Trump was the first, well it certainly helps when you've proven yourself in various business ventures and have put some B's in the bank. And I ain't talking Bitcoin. Now both Donald Trump and Oprah claim to be self-made billionaires, but one of these two is lying. Donald Trump had a leg up from his father, who jump-started his real estate empire, you know, where Oprah, she truly came from little or nothing.
A kid watching from the cheap seats as my mom came through the door, bone-tired from cleaning other people's houses.
She gets a point for that right out the gate. Now during Donald Trump's presidential run for the office, he boasted that his net worth was at least $10 billion. But after the dust settled, Forbes has pegged Donald's net worth at $3.1 billion. He actually saw a significant drop from 2016, where he was worth $3.7 billion, and the year prior where he was worth $4.5 billion. $3.1 billion ain't bad, with the biggest chunk of his change coming from his various real estate ventures. Now if you want to know more about the rich life of Donald Trump, I have this series titled just that. Let's roll a clip. The variation in Trump's net worth has to do with the evaluation of his Trump brand. There exists such a thing as Trump Ice, it's bottled water. There is Trump Wine, Trump Trail Mix, suits, ties, books, and cologne, which I hear smell like money. Oprah is the third richest woman in the world with an estimated net worth of $2.8 billion at the time of this recording. The biggest chunk of earnings came from her 25 years working the Oprah Winfrey Show, which remains the highest rated daytime talk show in American television history. The show was pulling in so much money, they were able to do this. You get a call! 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 She now has her own TV network, she's got an estimated $210 million worth of real estate, and she's a shareholder of various companies including Weight Watchers. Now these two are pretty much neck and neck, and I could go either way, but to be fair, although Donald's bank account has been on the decline, he's still got more bucks in the bank. So round 1, it goes to Donald Trump. But damn, it was close. Round 2, fight! Moving on to round 2, seeing as this would be a celebrity versus celebrity election, let's take a look at who's more popular. Seeing as Donald Trump is a huge fan of Twitter, let's start there. Both joined Twitter in early 2009, and at the time of this recording, Oprah is sitting on 41.3 million followers. Trump has 46.4 million followers on his personal account, so right there, another point for Trump. Now if we were to take a look at television, it is a landslide win for Oprah. Her 25 years on the Oprah Winfrey Show and her 10 Emmys for Outstanding Talk Show, well that dismantles any clout Donald Trump carries from his 14 seasons of The Apprentice, where he was host and producer, and did a lot of this.
You're fired.
Both media moguls have launched countless other products under their name brand, We can take a look at their publications, with Oprah having her own book club. She also has her own magazine titled O, where she is the cover model on every issue. The Oprah magazine, which has run since 2000, has had 2.4 million readers. Now Trump, he started 3 magazines, which never got more than 200,000 readers. But with that being said, his book, The Art of the Deal, it was a New York Times bestseller. To break this one down, we're gonna have to take a look at the results from a recent Rasmussen poll, which surveyed the public. And they found that if the election were held today on January 10th, 48% of the US would vote for Oprah, 38% would choose Trump, with another 14% still undecided. I gotta look at those numbers and give the victory to good old O. Round 3, fight! Wrapping things up in round 3, seeing as this is a competition about becoming the president, let's take a look at their political savvy. If Trump's victory taught us anything, it's that political experience isn't exactly a precursor for landing the top job in the United States. The argument here is a simple one. Oprah, she has no experience, but neither did Donald. So let's delve a little deeper. When Oprah first started out in television, she would decline to book politicians as guests on her show, citing their conversational slippiness as fundamentally at odds with her conversational interview style. I know what she means. You know, Anthony Weiner. He wouldn't talk about his wiener, but that's what everyone wants to talk about, stuff like that.
I've stayed away from interviewing politicians for 15 years because I thought it would be really difficult to break through the wall of, you know, those sound bites and practice answers, or what appear to be practice answers.
But by the year 2000, things had certainly changed. The Oprah Winfrey Show, they invited both Al Gore and George W. Bush on the show to make their respective cases to millions of viewers. Bush secured his victory after landing a big wet one on the O. While she lacks experience in politics, her career trajectory demonstrates that she is an exceptionally talented individual with an ability to inspire, lead, and create. She is an advocate for women, the LGBT community, and equality across the board. A study out of the University of Maryland determined that Oprah's endorsement of Barack Obama over Hillary Clinton in the 2008 Democratic presidential primary, well, it's estimated to have generated more than 1 million votes for Obama. But let's be honest. She has no experience in politics.
Wow, why do people say that? I have no qualifications to run.
Even Oprah herself used to laugh at the idea of running for president due to her lack of experience. That is, until Trump was elected. Now, Trump himself has no real experience in politics prior to his time in office, but that doesn't mean he stayed out of public discourse. Throughout the Obama administration, Trump was a leader of the birther movement, a group of people who thought that Obama was not born in the US. The movement pressured Obama to release his long-term birth certificate. He did so, proving that he was in fact born in the US. But being wrong didn't discourage the Donald.
Today, I'm very proud of myself because I've accomplished something that nobody else has been able to accomplish.
He would then move on to question Obama's academic accomplishments and demanded to release Obama's college transcript. Meanwhile, we're still waiting for President Trump to do what almost all presidential candidates have done in the past, which is release his taxes.
When I'm finished with the audit, I'll do it. Richard Nixon released his, even though his were under audit.
But Trump's political advocacy goes back decades. Trump made huge political waves in 1989 when he spent $85,000 for a full-page ad in the Daily News, advocating for return of the death penalty. In the ad, he demanded harsh punishment for Central Park 5, all juvenile males of black and Hispanic descent who were accused of assaulting and raping a female jogger. They turned out to be innocent. But that wasn't the first time Trump used newspaper ads to send out political messages. He also spent nearly $100,000 on a full-page ad in the Boston Globe in 1987, where he criticized the foreign policy of the Reagan administration. Believe it or not, Oprah Winfrey asked him about the ad and whether it signaled his run for presidency.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not.
Of course, he did end up running, not just in 2016, he also teased a run in 2012 before deciding not to run. He first ran in 2000 with the Reform Party before ultimately dropping out of the race prior to Election Day. When running the first time around, you might be surprised by who Trump thought would make a good running mate.
You have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
It's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice.
Of course, he ultimately never got her on the ticket. Jimmy Kimmel actually asked her in 2016 if she would consider being his running mate.
If he did make the call, would you take the call?
I would say
Donald, I'm with her.
On voting day in 2020, Donald Trump will have had 4 years in office as President of the United States, which is certainly the best political experience on the man's resume. But judging from what we've seen over the last year, not everyone's going to count that experience as valuable, as his approval rating is currently sitting at 39.2%, according to 538.com, up from a low of 36.4% on December 16. Now, many both inside and outside the White House have challenged Trump's knowledge of American history, politics, and basic civics. Here's a list of just some of the things he's reported to have not known. The scope of the president's duties, what the Supreme Court does. Putin, the difference between climate and weather, that healthcare is a complicated matter. That North Korea is complicated, where Puerto Rico is, the basic of his own tax plan, the cause of the Civil War, who the founder of ISIS was.
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS.
So between Oprah and Trump, which has the right kind of experience and knowledge to be the next president of the United States? Well, I can't really answer that for you. That's why the American people, I'm leaving it up to you to decide. And particularly, you guys watching this video right now. Because the winner of this round in this Versus will be determined by your votes. Answer the poll in the card that's popped up above my head, and I'll tell you the results in our next Versus video. In fact, there is a link to it right here. We just made one on Donald Trump versus Kim Jong-un. So you might want to go and check that out right meow, or be sure to browse around, check out our other videos, and if you're on my second channel, be sure to subscribe. Or if you're on my main one, subscribe there as well. Just get more of a credit in your life. Also, I can't wait to see who won.
The president's tweets absolutely reaffirmed the plain-spoken truth. The president's a genius.
When you all finished your encounter upstairs, did you feel like you had come